Welcome back to IDP Bets. My name is Johny the Greek. How is everybody doing? Happy week 2. Hope you guys had a good week 1. Interesting week, but we made it. We're here. We're at week 2. So we got some more good bets for you this week, some good tackle props, and maybe a sack prop or 2. I am joined by 2 very special guests this week. My normal co-host at Adam IDP on Twitter, co-host of the IDPShow.com flagship podcast, Dynasty ranker, known degenerate and fan of chicken, Adam. How are you, sir?
Doing great, man. Always good to get on here and talk ball. And we got a very, very special guest tonight.
That we do, yeah. He is at tackleboxprops, all one word, on Twitter. He is the director of betting at RPO Football. Patrick, he has been 70% accurate on posted tackle plays over the last 2 seasons. Find his work at rpofootball.com. Patrick, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Glad to be here. I was looking forward to last season, but we couldn't get scheduled, so had to wait till this year. Looking forward to it.
Good things come to those who wait. And 70% hitting on his prop bets, and that's not just like 10 bets, guys. Like this dude is
a lot.
Full-blown degen. We're talking like what, over 100 bets probably in that percentage.
50 maybe bets over the last 2 years. So
yeah. Love to see it.
Just lucky.
Nice. Yeah. No.
Not at all.
I love that.
Some luck involved, at least.
Yeah. The man's a shooter. We like that. We love that. Good stuff. Good stuff. Before we get into it, these are not even suggestions. We are literally just discussing the bets we will be making personally. Set a limit and stick to it. For help with problem gambling, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Quick review for last week. We were 6-2 on the official tackle props. Kenny Moore missed by half a tackle. Patrick Queen stunk up the joint. All the other tackle props hit. And shout out to Adam for the Andrew Van Stinkel hit on the huge sack prop. Thank you, Mr. Gink. But yeah, we got some good ones for you this week. Let's lead it off with our special guest, Patrick. What do you got for your first bet for week 2?
All right, for my first bet, I'm going to go with Josh Metellus over 5.5 tackles and assists, plus 105 on ESPN bet. It's also plus 100 on DraftKings, fine there as well. So Metellus went over this line in 13 out of 17 games last year. In 4 games that he missed, he ended with exactly 5 tackles, actually. So unfortunately, one of those games was against the 49ers, but while he did play 100% of the snaps in that game, the 49ers actually only ran 53 plays, pretty low total. For the sake of argument, I'll call Metellus a safety, and even though he kind of plays that hybrid safety nickel role, but last year the 49ers gave up the most tackles in the league to safeties, and are well on their way again, giving up the 3rd most in week 1 to the safety position. Hello, Tony Adams. My model that I use for tackle props projects Metellus to go over this number close to 65% of the time, so I will gladly grab the plus money on this one. I think we'll see another heavy dose of Jordan Mason and Deebo Samuel running the ball this week, so I like Metellus' chances to find his way to 6 tackles, playing his role near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he's such a stud, dude. He played like over 90% of his snaps like in the box or in the slot last season, so just fantastic usage. That is such a low tackle number for him. So yeah, you're right. Great matchup. I mean, this is everything you want. So love this call here. He's going to play 100% of the snaps, right? I mean,
yeah. Might only field here or there, but yeah, it's going to be just a few.
Right. And the only reason he was at like 90% last week is that game was over by the 3rd quarter. He should see every snap this week. And the 49ers are not the Giants. It's going to be a few more plays on defense from the Vikings this week, I would think.
Right on.
Beautiful. That is a solid one to start us there. Good plus money, too. We always like to see that. Love that. Adam, what do you got for your first one?
All right, I'm going to go with Drue Tranquil over 6.5 tackles plus assists. That's plus 100 on DraftKings. Sucked it up week 1, just 4 tackles. But I'm trusting old Drue has a solid bounce back game against Cincinnati. Drue played just 57% of the snaps in 2023, but thanks to injuries last year, he did end up playing 9 games where he saw at least 69% of the defensive snaps. He was over 6.5 tackles in all 9 of those games. So people sleep on the tranquilizer a little too much, boys. This offseason, I did some looking at career stats for over 100 linebackers, and Drue Tranquil was pretty impressive. He has a career tackle rate of 14.3% according to PFF. For comparison, Luke Kuechly was 14.4, Roquan was 14.5, TJ Edwards was 15%, Bobby Wagner 13.6. So good company Mr. Drue is in. I mentioned earlier he played just 57% of the snaps in 2023. He's going to smash that in 2024. We saw him play 84% in week 1. And I expect him to stay in that 80 to 90% range the entire year. Maybe even push for that LB1 spot at some point if Nick Bolton, continues to suck it up. So I like this right here. It's a little scary, but I trust Drue can do it, and I think he's an elite tackler. I think he can get 6.5 easily.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh yeah. Patrick, any thoughts on that?
I was just gonna say, I ran that on my model, and it had him going over just over 50% of the time. But I think that my model probably projects him to play fewer snaps than what he actually will. Kind of bases it off of last year's snap counts right now. So
yeah, and no Willie Gay, he's out of there. So I mean, there's more opportunity for him, I think, in his second year here with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I like him quite a bit. And again, Nick Bolton has been looking kind of slow. He's been not grading very well at all. He was like terrible in the playoffs. I know he's banged up and stuff, but still, he looked kind of slow and sluggish, I think, in week 1. So I think Tranquil's the best linebacker there in the room, and I don't think Leo Chenal is too far behind. So yeah, I'm big on Tranquil this year, and obviously like him this week.
Yeah, I could see it. Since he always plays them tough, that's always a game. Even with the backup last year at the end of the season, that was still a game right until the end of the 4th quarter. And yeah, no T. Higgins this week, so maybe a bit more of the run game that may help out Tranquil a little bit. So yeah, and once again, plus money. We always like to see that. So yeah,
right.
Good stuff right there. All righty, my first one for week 2 is I got to stay with the corners here, so I'm going to go Sean Murphy-Bunting. Over 4.5 combined at -125, going up against the Rams this week. So he played 100% of snaps last week, as expected. Should do the same this week. Had 5 combined tackles in week 1 against a Bills team that barely passed the ball, 18 completions on 23 attempts. And now he gets the 7th overall offense from last year and the number 1 overall offense for wide receiver targets. The Rams in week 1 had 34 completions on 49 attempts, with 39 of those targets going to wide receivers. That makes life a lot easier for Murphy-Bunting. This is about as ideal a setup as you'll ever see for a corner to have good production indoors against a team that targeted their wide receivers 79% of the time in week 1. Bunting also lined up in the box 34% of the time in week 1, so the occasional run-stopping tackle is a good possibility as well. I just think this is, got a decent shot to happen. Vegas thinks so too at the -125, so the price isn't great, but I like it.
Yeah, so I don't get into corners nearly as much as you do, but I ran this one through the model as well. Shows over about 55% of the time, but Rams also gave up looks like 4th most tackles in week 1 to cornerbacks, so the trend continues. Should be able to get there pretty easily.
Yes, sir. Adam, anything on that?
I'm going to add that they gave up tackles to everybody too. I think the linebackers, they allowed it maybe the most, right? I think they number 1 in linebacker tackles allowed. I think it's all 28 or something. Shout out Macri.
Beautiful. All right. Good stuff there. Patrick, what do you got for number 2 for week 2?
All right. The next one, I'm going to take Pete Werner, under 6.5 tackles and assists, -125 on Bet365. Right now, I'm only seeing 6.5 on Bet365. It looks like everywhere else has moved to 5.5. Werner was under this number in 10 of 16 games last year. 5 of the 6 games that he went over the number, he played 94% or more of the snaps. Fast forward to week 1, I should say, Werner was on the field for just 39 of 55 snaps, equating to about 70%. I watched the All-22 on that game. Werner was coming out on obvious passing downs. He only played 50% of the snaps in the first half. Didn't play at all inside the 2-minute warning. Let's see, what else do I got here? Oh, and then in the fourth quarter, he was on the field for 18 of 20 snaps in a blowout, while several other starters were on the bench, which seemed a little odd to me.
Wow.
Dallas is kind of a middle-of-the-road matchup for tackles allowed to linebackers last year, and again in week 1, they were right around that same number as they were in 2023. My model has this going under around 68% of the time, which is pretty high. I think if New Orleans can keep this game somewhat close, probably keeps Werner off the field just enough to keep him under that number. Oh, and only 2 tackles last week. So 70% of the snaps could only muster up 2 tackles.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
Guy stinks. Old Stinky Pete. You're on the right show, my brother. I mean, we are not fans of Old Stinky Pete. Yeah. But that was just watching the All-22. That is huge. I mean, I think the narrative probably with Pete Werner is that he got pulled because there was a big blowout, right?
Right.
But you actually watched the film, and that wasn't the case at all. That's not good usage.
50% of the snaps in the first half seemed wild to me. So.
Yeah, wow. And then I mean, I thought Willie Gay got kind of a didn't get as much as I thought he would. So if you could see that going up too, probably maybe in week 2, especially. I mean, because I was so surprised they gave him that contract this offseason.
That surprised everybody.
Yeah, but good for old Stinky Pete. Go buy him some toilet paper.
Nice, I love it. And real quick, while you're mentioning that, the model you got going there, I mean, obviously that's working real well for you. I mean, you don't have to, but do you want to talk about that? Like what goes into that? How
you can leave a few like ingredients out if you know.
Yeah.
It basically just pulls in a bunch of stats, right? Like it takes in playing time. I weight the tackles that teams are giving up, that players are getting against teams that give up a lot of tackles versus teams that don't give up a lot of tackles and all that, and just work the math out to get an approximation about what they think or what I think they'll receive for tackles and put it up against the number on DraftKings and the biggest spreads. I just kind of focus on those and look through them. You know, it's not direct science. I can't just blindly tail it. I still go through player by player and determine which ones I like the most. So
yeah, but you got a good feel for like what players are good. So it's good at like identifying,
right. I mean,
where they may be off and stuff.
I played IDP for how many, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is. So, you know,
for sure.
You can just look at things right away and say like, yeah, that doesn't make sense or what, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, nice. Love it, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff. I wish I was that talented.
Shout out Ben Wolby for helping me out with that model.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah,
good stuff.
It's good to know some smart folks. That's
right.
We've tried to link arms with just these smart dudes. And
I'm only smart because I'm dumb and get smart people to do things for me. So.
Exactly right, man.
That's good stuff. Beautiful. Yeah, good stuff right there, man. And you're right. The word on the street is he got pulled because it was a blowout. So good that you went back and watched the tape because just looking at the box score and comparing to the snaps, that would be the first thought to everyone. So yeah. Good.
There was someone in a chat today that was saying they're going to go over on that line, and they definitely didn't watch the All-22. I know that. So.
Right.
Yeah,
love to see. It could backfire on me too. Who knows?
Oh
no, I'm on board. Who cares if it does?
Right.
So
yeah, it's Vegas.
It still stinks.
Right. Yeah. Right. Vegas will always get us in the end. That's for sure.
Sure.
All righty. Adam, what do you got for number 2?
All right. Sticking, I guess, with unusual linebackers. I'm going to go Mack Wilson. Over 4.5 tackles plus assists. That's plus 100. So, you boys ready for Mack Wilson season? Kind of a believer. I think he's going to be one of the few bright spots on this terrible defense in Arizona. That was the case week 1, where he played 63% of the snaps, which also that was more than he's ever played. In the last year, he didn't play that at all in New England. I think he maxed out like 58% last season. So you like to see that. 63% of the snaps, piled up 9 tackles with an 87.9 overall PFF grade. That grade was 5th best among linebackers for week 1. Also, keep in mind, Mack Wilson played very well PFF-wise in 2023, where he put up an 81.5 overall PFF grade on 305 snaps with the Pats. This was 9th best among linebackers. So I think that's encouraging for playing time. You know, he's playing well when he's out there. Arizona gave him a 3-year, $13 million contract this offseason. He shouldn't see less than 60% of the snaps. You know, I don't think that's ever going to be the case really with him. So I think there's a lot of upside for his role to grow. He's got a great matchup against the Rams, who allowed, 28 tackles to the Buffalo Bills in week 1. That was the most in the NFL. So Mack Wilson over 4.5 tackles plus assists. I like it quite a bit, especially that plus money. And then obviously Kaiser White as well. I mean, that's the chalk play, right? He's I think it's like 7.5 or minus 110 last I saw. I've already got that parlayed with Mack Wilson. Actually, I think it was plus 100 earlier, and I was able to get in on that. But it's since has changed since everyone's started looking at it and betting it.
Yeah, I think Mack Wilson might have been the Cardinals' highest graded defensive player on PFF in week 1 too. I don't know. I thought I saw that. Maybe it was just among linebackers. Either way, he played well in week 1.
Yeah.
Hopefully that gets him more playing time. But even at 60%, I fudged some numbers with the model, put in 60% snap share for him, and it says over 62% of the time at plus money. So why not?
Yeah.
Let's go. Love it.
Nice. Yeah. And like you guys always say, follow the money, right? Like he's going to get some playing time, no doubt.
Yeah. And they've talked about him all offseason. Like they love that dude. And also look what's around him. Like it's Kaiser White sucked it up. He had like a 30 overall grade.
Yep.
So, I mean, and then like what's after him? Like there ain't much. It's like what, the 5th round rookie from last season. I can't remember his name, but Popo. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But yeah, Mack Wilson just feels like, one of the few playmakers on that team, that defense. So I'm a fan.
Nice.
I've been picking up and picking him up in like all my fantasy leagues and shit. He's out there everywhere. So
yeah, good deeper league guy for all those leagues where it's like 4 linebackers and the 2 IDP flexes too. That's a perfect IDP flex is like your 6th linebacker, or 5th linebacker, or whatever.
Yeah, and because he's also like a really good pass rusher too. Like he's always been a guy that can get sacks and whatnot.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yep. Lower line. Also, we like to see that. Yep. All right. Good stuff there. I'm going to go another corner here. I'm going to take Trent McDuffie against the Bengals over 4.5 combined plus 100. So McDuffie lined up in the boxer slot 34% of the time in week 1. Obviously, he played every snap. He did miss this line by half a tackle in week 1 against a Ravens team that barely targeted their wide receivers at all, with just 16 of their 40 pass attempts going to wide receiver. This week, he gets a Bengals team that was 2nd overall in wide receiver targets last season and targeted their wide receivers 55% of the time in week 1. I know T. Higgins isn't going to be there, but the Bengals team will offer McDuffie a better opportunity to get past this line than Baltimore did last week. McDuffie cleared this 11 times last season and averaged 4.7 combined tackles per game, which is obviously clear the number we're looking for here. It's not perfect, but, I also did this before they put a lot of these out earlier this afternoon today. So, yeah, it kind of is what it is. The price is nice, and, if you're going to trust a corner, McDuffie's not a bad option at all, I think.
Yeah, I love that, and that's a great. We need to make that point real quick. Guys, this is tough. You know, when we do the show Friday night, like they don't give us a lot of lines until like 5 o'clock, p.m. on Friday. It seems like there wasn't anything like this morning when I woke up, or like up until noon. So,
no Buffalo Bills lines on Thursday night. Did you guys notice that? What was up with that?
What's up with that? And also, like, they're not there was no Josie Jewell line. I didn't see him on the book that I used. There was a lot of players left off.
I actually told Leo week 1 I wanted to see a Josie Jewell line for over, and never got it. And not offering it again this week, so who knows?
I know. Honestly, thank God, though. I would have probably put a dumb amount of money on some Josie Jewell tackle props. So.
Yeah, he probably would have won week 1.
I don't know.
Yeah,
they're great. They're locked in with these lines, man. Like they immediately, we'll talk about a couple of them, but like EJ Speed's at 9.5. Like Singleton was immediately like, almost 10 out the gate. It's like Jesus.
Right.
Last year it seemed a lot softer. They've
Agreed.
Those dudes play IDP. They're checking out the content being made.
I think they got taken to the woodshed last year, and hired some people to better their processes.
Who is this tackle box props dude? He's running us. He's running us.
I hope that's what they were saying.
Oh, they can definitely know who you are, dude. They do not care for you one bit.
Oh yeah, have you been limited at all on any of your stuff yet?
Oh yeah. Bet365 has me limited. DraftKings has me limited.
Wow.
It's a great sign.
It is a good sign.
Good.
Yeah.
Guy's good, folks.
Yeah. It's what it is. Oh, well. Usually you can get more money down when the lines go live, though. So a little trick to everyone that's limited out there. Bet it pregame and then bet it once the first snap happens.
There's not a lot of you guys out there. I'll tell you that, dude.
Yeah,
not a lot of people are very good at it.
True.
Yeah. Beautiful. Alrighty, Patrick, what do you got for number 3?
We're gonna go off the wall on number 3 here. We're gonna go A'Shawn Robinson over 4.5 tackles plus 120 on DraftKings. I went back and looked at the last 3 years of A'Shawn Robinson game logs, and he played over 50% of the snaps in 22 games. And of those 22 games, he went over 4.5 in 16. Robinson's first game with the Panthers last week, he played 77% of the team's snaps, ended up with 9 tackles. Move forward to week 2, he now faces the Chargers, a team that I would project to be a pretty good matchup with Jim Harbaugh now at the helm. Have a feeling they're going to be very run heavy. In week 1, the Chargers allowed 15 tackles to opposing interior linemen, good for second most in the league. Panthers stat crew last year was the second most generous stat crew in the league at handing out tackles to visiting teams. And then add in the fact that Derek Brown is now on IR, it just seems like there's a recipe for A'Shawn to get plenty of snaps and plenty of tackles. I got my model. When I plug in his snap share to about 65%, which might be pretty light, I have this going over around 60% of the time. So again, that plus money looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff. I don't have a lot of stats to add about A'Shawn Robinson. But that is good stuff right there. Seemed like a smash play, and you're right. I mean, they're gonna get tons of opportunity with Harbaugh. They're running the ball a ton, keeping things short. So, that's a little gem right there. That's a hidden gem. That's why he's special, folks.
Only if it wins.
I think it's a guarantee.
Yeah.
All of these are guarantees. That's the.
No, there's a reason why.
Folks know.
Yeah, there's a reason why the disclaimer's up at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, good stuff though. I'm with you on that. And I mean, come on, Chargers are probably going to dominate that game totally from start to finish, and should be plenty of opportunities for this to happen, I would think. The overall game line seems low to me at -6. That it feels real doable for Harbaugh there against the Panthers, who looked absolutely terrible in week 1. So, yep, I'm with you. All righty, Adam, what do you got for number 3?
All right, I'm going Logan Wilson under 9.5 tackles. I have the, what was that, minus 110, 120? Is that what you guys said? Didn't put that on.
Minus 120, yep.
Okay, so I know he had 12 tackles on week 1, but still a little surprised this line is so high. Logan Wilson has never been one of those tackle eater types when it comes to linebackers. He's averaging just 6.9 tackles per game with a 12.3 tackle rate for his career. So this guy is no Drue Tranquil. Also, I'll look back at his last 3 matchups against Kansas City. Week 16, 2023, 5 tackles. 2022, week 12, 7 tackles. And then in 2022, the playoff matchup, week 20, 6 tackles. So Kansas City has been one of the stingiest teams at allowing tackles to linebackers over the past year. They ranked 20th in linebacker tackles allowed in 2023, and this continued in week 1 of this year, allowing only 12 to Baltimore. So once again, shout out PFF Macri. But yeah, I like this quite a bit. Again, that's very high. 9.5 tackles for Logan Wilson. Just never really been that type. And I know he can obviously get it. He just did get it. But still, I'm going to bet on him historically not being that type of guy.
Yep.
Wish we had you're not that guy, pal.
I missed the Logan Wilson line when researching earlier. And yeah, my model has this going under around 75% of the time, which is pretty high.
I love that model.
Also, Jermaine Pratt played like basically 100% of the snaps week 1.
Yeah.
If that continues, he can steal some tackles in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always liked Jermaine Pratt quite a bit. I think he slept on.
Same. Yep. Yeah, similar production to Wilson, rounds plural later. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no kidding. Like Logan Wilson's like, in those IDP only best balls, like you're having to spend like a 4th or 5th round pick on him. Or Jermaine Pratt, he's usually there like in the 11th or 12th, He's going to give you over 100 tackles.
Yeah.
Won't be too far off from Logan Wilson. Again, he's just not that type of dude.
Yep. Yeah, beautiful. Good stuff there. I am very interested to see what your model says about this one, because this is a total, hip shot, shooting from the hip right here on this last one. I changed out of my original bet to go with this when I saw it, when they added some new stuff this afternoon. I'm going to go Quay Walker over 8.5 combined tackles at minus 125. So obviously he played every snap week 1. He had 11 combined tackles week 1. They get the Colts this week, who actually only attempted 19 passes in week 1. And clearly we're trying to establish the run with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, 22 carries for 104 yards, 4.7 yards per carry. They were the 10th overall rushing team last season, 11th in attempts, so should be plenty of opportunities for Quay to get some easy run stopping tackles. He averaged 8.5 combined tackles a game last season, and now he's basically the guy in the middle, not by himself, but he is the best talent in the middle there now. Vegas has this as a close game, with the Colts only favored by 3. But with the Packers having to start Malik Willis, I think there's an opportunity here for Indy to win this one and win it handily, and have JT in that offense salting this one away late in the game, leading to some more opportunities here for Quay. So yeah, more gut feeling than anything. I just think that the game script's going to line up to deliver this for us. I don't really see Anthony Richardson throwing it deep enough that Quay isn't involved, or enough that Quay isn't involved heavily all game long. So yeah, what do you guys think? And what's the model say? Let's hear what the model says.
The model says over 60% of the time, 59.9 to be exact.
I'll take it.
I wrote some notes on this one and said the Colts were a top 5 linebacker matchup last year, I believe. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think they were also the fastest pace of play team in the league last year, which leads to more defensive snaps. And the last note was Malik Willis yucky. So have a feeling that the Packers defense could be on the field quite often.
Yeah, this does not feel like a 3-point spread to me. This game, I think Vegas is baiting people to bet the Packers. Beautiful.
Yeah, I love it, Johnny. That's a good one. And then Quay Walker was really good. Like that first half of the season last year, like he seemed like he was kind of coming on, but then he got hurt and production wasn't the same. So yeah, I think, what do you have last week? He was over that line last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had 11 last week.
Yeah, he feels safe. Like he feels like I'm pretty sure he's going to have like a 13.5 to 14%, career tackle rate by the time he's done. Although I do worry that he could be like a Devin White type, and how long is he going to be relevant for us in Dynasty? But
just don't get kicked out of the game or something, right? Didn't get kicked out of the
game.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Oh, crybaby Quay. Yep, he sure did. Hey, but he was like 21, 22, right? So
yeah, he's all grown up now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just like us.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, we got some very good options there. Patrick, where can the people find you? What are you doing this season? The floor is yours. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, all my work is going to be at rpofootball.com there in the Discord, placing bets. Other than that, yeah, at tackleboxprops on Twitter, rpofootball.com. That's where you can find me.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Probably not a bad idea to turn on the notifications for old tackle box props.
I do like to hit those live bets, so
there you go. Something to think about. He's got some pretty good success at it. And also, like, I've always noticed, like, you're good at like finding like guys that like are injured or like not playing a lot or whatever.
Yeah, that mistakes, Vegas mistakes. Yes.
Yep. I was almost about ready to hammer George Odom under this week, hoping that Hufanga would be back, but then I saw a doubtful a couple hours before we met tonight, so thought I better leave it alone.
Yeah. In your opinion, have they gotten better at that over time, Vegas, identifying that stuff, or they still screw up every once in a while? Or?
Yeah, I think they're getting better, but they still definitely, every couple of weeks you can find a gem, I feel like. And a lot of times you just don't know it until the game's live, right? And the books are not very good at knowing, last year Tracy Walker, I hit a live under on him because they had a line and he ended up only playing like 30% of the snaps, but he's not out there on the first drive. Put that live under in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's a good call. They did that with Michael Davis last year too, when he didn't play at all. Yeah, so it happens. Yeah.
You gotta find those guys that aren't going to play defense at all, but play special teams. Got to have a snap.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff. Adam, any parting words?
No, Patrick. Thanks so much for joining us, man. This was a lot of fun. Learned a lot. Welcome back anytime. But yeah, everyone out there, follow his work at tackleboxprops on the Twitters. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, dude. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah, let's get you back. Whenever you're clear later this season, whatever. We'd love to have you back. Thank you for doing this. We really do appreciate it. He is at tackleboxprops on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for other shows: the IDP Show, the IDP After Show, the IDP Trade Show, and IDP Drafts. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so for just $5 a month over at theidpshow.com. We've got premium features for paid supporters that we know you'll enjoy. Follow us on Twitter at The IDP Show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have a good week. Good luck in week 2. We'll catch you same time, same place next week. Take care. Bye-bye.